everybody, Raul here for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the extraordinary honor of chatting with bassist, vocalist, sometimes rhythm guitarist, and only consistent member of Enuff Z'Nuff, Schmitt Z'Nuff. Yay!
Thank you. Nice introduction. I appreciate that. You forgot lead guitar too. I play it all.
Oh my gosh, he does it
But
all.
I'm,
Wow,
I'm nitpicking. I'm nitpicking right now. Okay, I'm just kidding.
that's okay.
There's a
That's
lot of different.
okay.
I like to think of myself as a six-trick pony, but I don't want to sound where I'm a little bit egotistical because I'm not. I appreciate everything I got. And I'm only as good as the cats I surround myself with.
Nice, nice. Well, as we talk about that, we always like to go to the past. How did you get started in music and particularly on bass?
But real simple. At nighttime, I'd ask my father if I could stay up and watch Don Kirshner's rock concert or the Midnight Special. And if I was a good kid during the school week, he would oblige. And I'd have the TV for a half hour or an hour, and I'd get a chance to watch my favorite bands. And at the time, I was playing sports, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, what have you. I was a real sports enthusiast. And after a while, after watching all the great bands on these programs, Alice Cooper and Black Sabbath, Queen, a lot of the English stuff, a lot of stuff from across the pond. Of course, some American bands as well, too. I was just smitten by what they did and the feeling I got from listening to the music. And I think that's what started and poked the bear a little bit.
Gotcha. So are you self-taught or did you take classes or how did you do that?
Well, I am self-taught, although there was quite a few influences once I got into it. There was a kid on my block, his name was Keith Kenston. I love him to death. I haven't seen him in years. He was a fabulous player. He had a band called Mad Dog. And I'd sit in the gangway and watch down the window as the band would rehearse. So the drummers was Rich Hasdra. They call him the Hull. Him and Xander were great friends in the early days of Cheap Trick. And George Solsky was the guitar player. Just an absolute beast. And I'd watch these cats play. And that was really started all off for me. And of course, listening to old Rush and Beatle records just really smitten me. And I wanted to learn from the best. So although I'm self-taught, I've obviously had my peers that were my teachers unwittingly.
Mm-hmm.
And just listening to music, I just learned that way, basically note for note, and tons of rehearsal, sitting down in the basement. I went to a car auction. It was actually like a guitar car. It was mechanical. It's kind of auction they had in Chicago. My father brought me there, and he bought me my first bass guitar. It was an old Wurlitzer hollow body bass. And I sat in the basement and just rehearsed, listened to all my favorite records, and played until my fingers bled. It was very uncomfortable at first, but then I built up some calluses, and those were my picks.
There you go.
And instead of playing with the pick, I did in the early days. I don't anymore. I play with my fingers. I have for years and years. I developed a style. And then the more bass players I would listen to, the more I'd learn, from the old Queen stuff and listen to Over and Watson, Mott the Hoople. Obviously, I was a big Pink Floyd fan in the early days, too. But I think McCartney was the first one that really gave me a lesson on how to write songs and just listen to all those great bass lines. And it was effortless for him. I heard, from what he says, he was intimidated in the early days. He wasn't confident in his bass playing, but I thought he was absolutely fabulous. And from there, I just worked my way around the universe, listening to everything. Aerosmith records. I was a huge fan of that band. Of course, Tom Peterson, Cheap Trick, the 12-string bass. That took me in another direction right there because it was a different approach to bass guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so many cats to mention. I love Billy Sheehan, fabulous player in the early days of Enuff Z'Nuff. And Mr. Big shared the same management company, Herbie Herbert. And we also toured together as well.
Nice.
And shared the stage. Fabulous player. It's just so many guys. I could probably, obviously, Geddy Lee, who coincidentally Billy Sheehan introduced me to at Alpine Valley. Big influence on my life. Listening to those early Rush records. And seeing Rush play in the clubs, too, when I was a little kid. When Neil Peart joined the band right after John Rutsey left, and they were on tour playing clubs in Chicago. I seen them on, I think it was Press of Steel record, and I think perhaps even on fly by night.
Gotcha.
So I learned from some really good cats, and there's a lot I'm missing too. A lot of players from the R&B days too. So I think I tried to grab as many styles as I could, listen to everything, just to know where to go to, and then I took the ball myself and just ran with it.
Very cool. Well, and I think for a lot of our younger listeners, even though vinyl is making a return, it was certainly a whole different project lifting tunes from records because you had to deal with the needle and moving it back and forth and stuff. So it was a lot more
Well, yeah,
challenging than it is now.
there was no internet back then.
Yeah.
You had to learn the songs and you watched people play, and you could ask questions too. It was not a problem with asking your favorite musicians how he did this or she did that.
Yeah.
I was a big Carol Kay fan too. I listened to old records. I thought, I thought she was fabulous as well. When I go back and listen to, I could probably write down. Be much easier for me to write down. It's early in the morning, by the way, for me. I'm in Mississippi and I'm half asleep. I apologize for that. Up all night being in a rock and roll band, you burn the candle at both ends until there's no wick left. But there was so many influences out there. I'm probably not being fair to the people that have influenced me in my life. But it's a brief synopsis right there of some of the great cats I've listened to and learned from. And it's all, even though it was self-taught, it wasn't for those cats. You show me a guy without influences, I'll show you a guy who wasn't written to one note.
There we go. Well, and your compendium of all of this input. Now, really exciting news. Enuff Z'Nuff has a new album dropping in a couple of days from when we're talking right now. July 25th. It's titled Extra Cherries, and that's with XTRAA, Extra Cherries. Tell us a little bit about this project. It's something fresh coming up.
It's the world. I look through my kaleidoscope, different colors, different shapes. It's another Enuff Z'Nuff album. I think we've taken a little bit different of an approach on this one. And obviously, things have changed throughout the years. The one thing that still stays intact is trying to come up with a good song. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's a record that's full of pop, rock, a little bit of metal, a lot of alternative. It's a potpourri of all those things. One of my favorite words, by the way. It's just a real good, nice mixture of songs. And the Extra Cherries is all the musicians that have came and helped me collaborate on this record. Songs, most of them were already written. Some of them are old songs, obviously. The stuff I did with the Journey guys, we did that years and years ago, but finally sees the light of day right now. And to quote the great Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, if it's 20 years old, it's new again. And that's what it is. This record's all about. It's a bunch of songs that some written in the past, some written, as early as this year. And I tried to put them all together with some great musicians. And I think I succeeded there. I certainly hope so, because early reviews are people are digging the record. And that really makes me happy, because in this day and age, there's so many bands, so much songs out there. Yeah. You just don't know if you're going to get recognized whatsoever. And at the end of the day, that's what us musicians do. We write songs, and we write them for ourselves. Most of the great guys I know, they're creating on their own and coming up with stuff that really moves them. And then if it moves the needle and past the test of time, then we share it with our constituents and our brothers and sisters.
Very nice. Well, and for folks that were paying attention, you guys started, Enuff Z'Nuff started in 1984. And again, you are the only remaining original member. And as we fast forward, a lot of time has passed. You mentioned, though, there's a lot of past music in this album, but it also sounds like it's been evolving through time and all the other extra influences that you've had.
I like to believe that we are evolving. And in the early days, I had a partner, Donnie V, wonderful singer, great songwriter, and a wonderful partner in the early days. And although we bumps and bruises, and we went through a few some difficult times, to say the least, the one common denominator was we cared about the songs. We cared about leaving a good legacy. And Donnie left the band a couple of times, actually. Left in the late 90s. He left in the early 2000s after our Glam Slam Metal Jam tour, where we were playing sheds and arenas with Poison, Quiet Riot, Warrant. And we were really, the Black Cloud was following us. We still were able to consistently put out solid records. And we were always considered the critics' darlings.
Nice.
And when he left for the last time in 2013, he said, if you're going to continue moving on with Enuff Z'Nuff, you should sing the songs because you wrote them with me, you produced those records with me. And I feel that when you get up on the stage, people are going to look at this and say, oh, that's Enuff Z'Nuff, just by my look. And then maybe he's right there, but I took a chance. Maybe he was just baiting me into taking over, and then I would fail miserably. I might get another chance. But we have a wonderful catalog of material. Since he's left, I've done about 6 or 7, maybe 8 Enuff Z'Nuff albums, and they've all done very well for us. And we're still able to, we have our health, God bless us. We're able to tour around the country and play these songs, and it puts a smile on a lot of people's faces. And it's a quite extraordinary catalog. You got on Spotify, 300 songs on there. Not many bands can say that, and I'm very proud of that. But now it's pretty much me writing the songs on my own. But I've had a lot of experience together with other artists, and I think I've learned the craft a little bit. You never learn everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's always more to learn every single day. And once you shut your mind off to that, you'll be confusing motion with progress, and you won't come up with anything. So I'm always looking for songs. And I find them in all different places, whether it's lipstick on a glass, a joint on an ashtray, just a certain metaphor somebody says. Just there's so much in the world to write about and experience. And then you put pen to paper and you put music to tape, and there you go. There's your song. Everybody can write songs. It's obviously it's a gift. It's special, but anybody can come up with songs. There's so many artists out there that have wonderful songs that are never heard whatsoever. And I wish them well, getting their material out there to the people that can help you.
Nice. Well, and I think one of the things that has changed an awful lot, especially going back in the day, for you to be heard, you had to be dealing with record labels and the radio because they were controlling a lot of what was out on the airwaves. Now with the internet, you've got a lot of people who are kind of more self-produced. You can certainly get things heard without having a giant company, corporate entity behind you. I'm sure it helps if you've got a good label that you're working with, that it certainly will help propel you forward. But as we move away from this, we also should talk a little bit about how you're getting your sound. It was interesting you mentioned the Tom Peterson's 12-string bass. Not a lot of people play 12-string, but you had a spell where you've been playing 12-string as well. How do you get your sound? What are you playing on?
I've been using SVTs for a while, although I'm endorsed by Mesa Boogie, and I do love their gear as well. Those early Enuff Z'Nuff albums, I'm not even playing through an amp. I'm playing through a Pultec and just run right into the console direct. Just got to watch your technique. Playing an old 1963 Fender Precision bass that I bought back in '75 for $500, and I've still got the same bass. But throughout the records, I changed a little bit where I purchased some more guitars throughout the years, and I started playing Hamer. I was friends with Joel Danzig. Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick introduced me to him. Joel was running a company called Hamer, and I ended up getting a bunch of basses from him, and I was really smitten by the whole way of how to play a 12-string bass. I play with my fingers, so it's a different technique than playing with a pick, the way it's all strung. And I asked how you tune the bass, and he says, we could tune it octaves or thirds or fifths, sevenths, whatever you want to. And I just asked Peterson about it. He said, I just tune everything in octaves.
Yeah.
And it's like guitar and bass together. And I started using that. And because we were 3-piece Enuff Z'Nuff, but Donnie was just fronting back in the early days, I thought that would help fill the sound out. And it certainly did. It was made it much bigger. And when Derek would play a solo, behind him would be a freight train of this huge 12-string bass guitar. But on most of the records, I was playing the old Fender Precision, which I can go back to that all the time, and it's never going to let me down. And all the producers that I've worked with, Enuff Z'Nuff, and engineers have all said, as soon as I plug in and hit a couple notes, they go, "It sounds fabulous. Just leave it alone." And it saves us a lot of time too, because instead of taking time out where you're a 10-song record and you got 3 or 4 days to track the whole thing, I do everything in one day. I'm done.
Gotcha.
I wanted to spend more time on other instrumentation, preferably vocals, and sometimes we do some lush harmonies and where we're overdubbing multiple parts. I think that's very important to really give that the time it needs. And he in the early days of the Beatles stuff, McCartney said he was doing those songs and he'd lay down 2-3 songs in a day.
Yeah.
So I'm just following suit and looking at my my idols. Every single day when I go in the studio, when I'm recording, it's drums and bass that starts the records off every single time for all the rock records that I know about, Rolling Stones, you name the bands. And that's my focus of attention, is just coming up with, first of all, a good song, which are mostly written on acoustic guitar. And then from there, laying down the foundation. That sets the tone for the future.
Nice. Well, and I'm glad you mentioned the future. As we look ahead, I know there's going to be, with the release of the new album, and you're currently touring, I imagine that's going to get incorporated into the tour. What are the plans for the future? What do you have in the works?
Thanks for asking. Quite a few things, actually, in the future. First thing is we will tour on this record extensively. I just finished up a tour with Enuff Z'Nuff. I'm out with a band right now, the GNR Experience. We're playing nothing but the first Guns N' Roses record, Appetite for Destruction. Of course, I used to live with Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses. So I pretty much, those songs are in my wheelhouse. It's definitely challenging because those cats wrote those songs when they were in their 20s, and here we are, much older, trying to navigate, play those songs and make them sound like the record. And I think we're doing a pretty good job. Every show's been sold out, jam-packed. The band's called Pretty Tied Up right now. That's where I'm on tour with at the moment. And then I'll come back to the States, to Chicago, and I'll start another tour. And we got a bunch of festival dates coming up as well. And then the big thing for me is Enuff Z'Nuff. Donnie and I are being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Of course, Donnie's not in Enuff Z'Nuff right now, but he's taking time out of his schedule to come out there and to accept and celebrate the years and years we had writing these songs and playing around the country, still celebrating life. So September 14th of 2025, the Rialto Theater in Joliet. It'll be Disturbed, Smashing Pumpkins, Head East, Richard Marx, Enuff Z'Nuff, and others. We're all playing 2 or 3 songs and celebrating being inducted into Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's very special. And then working on a documentary as well that we want to release in 2026.
Very cool. And with so much going on, where's the best place if people want to know where to find out what's happening so they might be able to go? Where's the best place for them to look?
I tell you, my gang, they're pretty good when it comes to social media. Jason Camino, my guitar player, the guy can talk a dog off a beat truck. Luis Cahill from Red Devil Vortex, he's our guitarist. He's very good at social media as well. And Brent Arsmith, who used to play with Mike Tramp's White Line, he's our drummer now. He's a wonderful singer, songwriter, fabulous musician. These guys all help run our social media. It's pretty Sesame Street now, like a lot of the bigger bands that are out there. Instagram, Twitter, X, if you want to call it, Facebook. We're pretty much on everything right there. Just go to enuffznuff.com, ENUFFZNUFF.com, and you'll find out all the dates and everything that we're doing. Shout out to Patty, too, Miss Patty Pidgey Glascott, who runs our social media out in Chicago. We got a good team that we put together, and all bands need that. You can't do it yourself. You need to put together a formidable team, along with my publicist, Amanda, over at ABC and Cleopatra Records. These guys, the focus of attention is to reach as many eyes and ears as possible. And I think we're doing that right now in this Enuff Z'Nuff Extra Cherries record. I plan, with the good Lord's blessing, being out there for quite some time, traveling around the country, bringing my songs to every single state and country, and leaving an indelible mark in every town.
Very nice. Well, we appreciate you taking time from your busy schedule to chat with us and to share all this news and all the fun stuff. We're looking very much forward to Extra Cherries and a tour coming to a village or a venue near all of us. So, folks, you've seen him here on Bass Musician Magazine. Chip Z'Nuff. Yay!
God bless us all. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you talking to me. I wish you well. Come see us in concert. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Thank you.